This video is about Aries, and I'm going to share my screen with you. And let's commence. And let's get rid of me. Okay. So here we have. I thought we can just look at this. This is like a prashna of a chart of the moment, so it's not really reflective of anything. We're just looking at Aries tendencies. So, as you know, I just did like a PDF for you. You can have a look at that and just see about Aries. It gives you a few pointers. So, like we said, Aries basically is where we are born into the world. So we come in normally through the head. So it represents the head. Here we are. This is Aries in this South Indian chart, and this is Aries number 1 in the North Indian. And because it's the head, so you can imagine that somebody who has any affliction there, it'll have like say for example, if you have Mars there, or you have Mars aspect in the first house, although it will protect it, it can actually give some injury to the head, to the person as well. So always bear that in mind. So for example, if somebody has Moon in Aries, even if they are a different ascendant altogether, not necessarily Aries, you know that they have an emotional mind, because first house of the natural zodiac is Aries. It's the head, it's the brain, it's the mind. Mind is obviously the moon. So, and because this is the head, so their head is full of emotional mind, moon in Aries. Their thought process is all about, it's in their head. Now let's have a look. Like, for example, somebody who's got Saturn in Aries, everything is in life is approached with misery and lack and negativity, because that is the nature of the planet that sits there. And so if somebody who has that, you can check people's charts. So you know that they're not able, or they lose ability to initiate if they have like weak planets there. A boss, for example, with bad Aries cannot govern the business. It'll just be difficult for them, because this is where Sun is exalted. So if you have a weak planet like Saturn there, or Mars is debilitated anyway, they will have difficulties in actually governing or running a business. And most important, obviously, most important part of the zodiac, because it's the head, it can create the foundations. So therefore, if there are planets in Aries, a strong one like the Sun, that person will have strong foundations. Having Saturn there, for example, they come from a lack background to it. And that goes you know that you can just apply all of these techniques to all the houses for all the ascendants. So start things like with an exalted Sun in Aries can start things and see them through. Afflicted planets can give you setbacks for the person, and therefore for them to actually get to build their life is a bit more challenging. It's also intelligence. So Sun in Aries, an intelligent person starting things successfully, they're inspired thought process as well. But obviously, as we said, Saturn in Aries can give misery in the head and very unhappy thoughts. So it's worthwhile knowing these things about all of them. So we know that, I went through if you can actually apply this to as though the chart was empty, so there were no planets in any of these. And we said that because there are two benefic signs, signs ruled by benefics either side of Aries, so that it doesn't matter what planets are next to them, but generally speaking, it just means that they are actually being supported by either side, even if so I mean, obviously this is just reading a charts blankly, and that the second house is ruled by Venus, seventh house by Venus. So not only is either side ruled by benefic planets, it's also aspected by the planet by benefic planets. But Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Saturn's third aspect is also on there. So it can also be that they have to put a lot of effort in. Saturn can actually give them a lot of issues. But then from Sagittarius, Jupiter is also fifth aspect will be on that as well. So it's actually got quite a lot of benefic aspects to the sign. So for the very reason that Venus and Mars are actually quite friendly towards each other, they know you can actually assume that they can have good amount of domestic happiness in their life. They earn good money because second house is money. It's also a fixed sign as well, so they can actually attain that money. And you know that they can be outspoken because obviously Mars from Scorpio is aspecting that. They can be outspoken, but they will be truthful as well because of Venus being the second house ruler. They can come from a good and well-to-do or respectable family as well, because obviously Venus ruling that as well. So they can be good speakers. Again, second house ruled by a benefic. And Mars, Sun, and Jupiter are obviously friendly with Mars as well, which help. So it's actually the most challenging planet for them will be Mercury, because it rules the difficult houses, third and sixth house, Gemini and Virgo. And there's more information about friends and things like that, you know, on the PDF. But you know that third house is Mercury house, Gemini, and this is also between two benefics as well. So again, you know, so Gemini is there, and we've got Taurus and Cancer either side. So it's actually benefically, if you know, hemmed as well. So that's nice. So that could mean that they could have nice friends as well. And the aspect of Jupiter on the third house as well is Jupiter from there aspect in it as well. Or if we put Jupiter there, you know, because these are Jupiter houses, they do help the friend situation. They will have problems with them first though, but if they have brothers and sisters, they will be quite sweet with each other. Mars and Mercury obviously enemies to each other, so there could be disagreements between brothers and sisters, siblings, generally, normally younger ones. And also because generally speaking, Aries ascendants can just do things a bit hastily as well. And because of this position of Mercury as well in Gemini, you know that they're going to be doing a lot of short and long distance travel as well, because Jupiter from Sagittarius or from I don't know what I said that earlier actually about there, because I got confused with Jupiter being there. But generally speaking, because Sagittarius is their aspects Gemini, it just means that these people will be traveling quite a lot, generally speaking, long distance or short distance as well. And also Moon rules their fourth house, and is hemmed between Mercury sign Gemini and Leo, which is Sun sign as well. So you can see that there could be some issues with mother there because of that reason. And also because Mars is debilitated in there as well. So they could either be very emotional and very protective of their mum, or they could have issues with their mum as well, or issues, you know, if Mars is weak, then issues with land, siblings as well, because those are the things that, or anger issues, is Mars is in Cancer. They literally they normally have very respectable and good mothers, because of just, you know, the fourth house being in Cancer. So they're quite, you know, quite sort of like quite nice for them, you know, just it's an emotional house, so they're quite emotionally connected to their mums. Saturn and Mars, both of them aspect aspect, like say if Mars was there, it would be aspect in the fourth house, and Saturn aspects from Capricorn. Not, I don't want you to look at the planets, just look at it as an empty, So it just means that there could be some unhappiness or some difficulties for the mother as well. Their education is can be broken as well because of the aspect of Saturn as well. To the fourth house. Fourth house is early education, so that can be an issue as well. So, and they might have sort of, but obviously Jupiter aspects as well. Jupiter owns their ninth house, so they will actually end up pursuing that, even if there's breaks. Mars and Saturn both are two malefic planets, aspect to fourth house, so they could also be like very quick temper as well, for that very reason. And so you just want to just look at all of those things as well. So and then let's have a look at, like, for example, even their fifth house. Leo is aspected by Saturn from there, so they could have issues with their father, and which makes it a bit difficult. But that is also sitting between two. Fifth house is also sitting between two benefic houses as well. Cancer, and Virgo, both ruled by benefic, so it's also hemmed nicely as well for them. And the house also will have aspect of Jupiter as well, by the ninth aspect there. So, which is very good. But obviously Saturn's aspect is difficult for them. And can give some sort of issues there. And then we have so they can just sometimes, because of that, they could be also fifth house getting aspect of Saturn. They could have issues with their children, or some people might have even issues having children as well. So you want to actually just look into that, just in people's charts, just look at, because Jupiter is the indicator of children, just see the condition of Jupiter as well. In this chart that you can see, Jupiter is aspect in the fifth house, so it will bless it anyway. So even though Mars is a malefic, I mean, you always got to just see that even though a planet is in good condition, but if they're naturally malefic, they're still, even if it's the lord of the ascendant, it still is a malefic. So, but because obviously Venus is there, Venus is helping, and Jupiter is helping as well from there. So if this was a proper chart, so you can see that the chance of having a child is good. And obviously, you can see that Sun and Saturn are, their house aspect, and they're real enemies to each other as well. And so, because obviously Saturn is aspecting the fifth house from there, you can see that the luck. This is there is sort of up and down in terms of luck. Will be good, will be down, will be up, will be down for them a little bit as well. The sixth house has Virgo, and that's between malefic house and the benefic house Libra. So you can see that it's going to be either way. This house is also aspected by Jupiter. So Jupiter from there. So there and there. So sixth house. You can see that it's has Jupiter's aspect. People have they can have a number of enemies as well, because Mars and sixth house is enemies, and it's Jupiter just expands that, so they'll have a few enemies. And because Venus is also debilitated there, they could have female enemies. Just bear that in mind. And because sixth house is also your colleagues, so they can have colleagues that are, so. The seventh house is hemmed between Virgo, benefic house, and Scorpio is a malefic house. So And also Mars aspects it as well from there, and also Saturn, you know. So obviously that just is two aspects of malefics as well. So and so it can be, you know, it can have some challenges because of that. And Mars and Venus are kind of friendly towards each other, or neutral, whatever you want to say. So they marry quite well, and they're able to attain good marriage, make good choices in marriage as well. But they, because two malefics are actually aspecting, so they could actually be like, particularly Mars, you know, Aries actually, you know, aspecting Libra. They could be divorces as well. And but they normally get really good spouses. And then the eighth house is ruled by Mars, aspected by Venus and Jupiter as well. And so, of course, Mars and, you know, from Aquarius, Scorpio gets an aspect of that as well. So you can see that there are two benefics actually hemming Scorpio, so which protects their eighth house. So even though they can create their own accidents, they will heal pretty well. And so the eighth house is quite strong. They can get like good inheritances and things like that. So yeah, that's good. So ninth house is also ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius, and so, and because this is this house, ninth house, is hemmed between Mars, Scorpio, and Saturn, Capricorn. It's ninth house, so you can see that there could be issues with father, or with kind of further education. They can have breaks there as well, so that kind of thing can happen also. But it has got the aspect of Gemini there as well, which is a benefic thing. But obviously they've got two malefic aspects to it as well, so you want to bear that in mind as well. So and then the 10th house is Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. There it is, and that is hemmed between a benefic house, Sagittarius, and also a malefic house, Aquarius, and it's got aspect of the moon. So there's one good kind of like aspect to it there. So you know that there could be issues with elder siblings, or amongst their big groups of friends and networks. Generally speaking, for Aries ascendant, they can have those issues. And I just want to just drop this in there, but I will actually do a video about this. But generally speaking, for all the movable signs, which is Aries, Cancer, and Libra, Capricorn, they have an issue with the 11th house. It's called buttock, and I will do issue. They always have an issue with buttock sign, so Aquarius, and the lord of that, which is Saturn. And so let's go to, yeah, so they can have issues also with the elder sibling. I'm sure I said that already. But 12th house is hemmed between two malefic houses. So they could have a lot of expenses they can incur, you know, and they could be prone to a little bit of losing themselves, addictions as well. So they've got to be careful with that as well. And sometimes that could also give them a little bit of difficulty in sleeping as well, or they get very unusual dreams too. So these are things that you can see just looking at an Aries chart, just very briefly. So that's it. I shall see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching.